I think the Philadelphia Eagles just took a page out of Michael Jordan's book with the move that they just did on the entire NFL. Now, coming into this week before their massive win against the Pittsburgh Steelers, there were a lot of rumors and narratives going on around Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Now, this passing attack hasn't looked great over the past few weeks, and we saw this video of Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown sitting on the sideline, seemingly a little frustrated. And then we saw Brandon Graham went on this podcast or radio show, and he was talking about how the relationship really hasn't been the same. There was a lot of crazy speculation going on within that building, within Philadelphia, people talking about, these guys used to be best friends and what's going on. Is A.J. Brown a diva? Is Jalen Hurts overpaid? And these two went out and quieted everybody, like a old school Michael Jordan video or an old school Michael Jordan documentary, when he would talk about how he would find fake narratives about different people and then he would go out there and put up 50 on them. He'd be like, what did he say about me? Did he just say this? Did he say I'm trash? And then go out and put 50 points on him. And that's what we saw with this Philadelphia Eagles team. It seemed like these rumors and narratives kind of started from within this team, almost with Brandon Graham leaking that. And we saw A.J. Brown and Jalen Hurts put the world on notice with their performance against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Hurts went for 290 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no picks. And of course, his best friend, 8 receptions, 110 yards, and 1 touchdown. And people were questioning what this offense can do, what this passing attack could look like. And this just goes to show you how truly scary this Philadelphia Eagles team truly is. And I tried to say this a few weeks ago on my YouTube channel, but I didn't feel like people were giving the Philadelphia Eagles the credit that they deserved, because they were 2-2 to start the season. They were a little banged up. We saw Smith and Brown both go down, and people were questioning, was this going to be a repeat of last year where they had that super hard start and lost about 6 out of their final 7 games or 7 out of their final 8 games, lost in the first round of the postseason, and everybody was quick to call for Sirianni's job. Is Jalen Hurts the right guy for the Philadelphia Eagles, like everybody naturally does in the state of Philadelphia? And then they'd go on to win 10 straight games. And then people were getting so bored, they were complaining about the way they're winning. Oh, we're not putting up 50 points against the Carolina Panthers. This passing attack doesn't look too good. And then they go out there, quiet everybody, statement performance against one of the top teams in the AFC. And this is no cupcake game. Philadelphia showed that they can move you at the line of scrimmage, that they could run the football. And then on defense, they showed that they're also just as good, shutting down Najee Harris and shutting down this passing game. And then Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown unleashed what they've been holding back, put up 27 points. They both had this dynamic game. And I think this should terrify the rest of the NFL, because right now, this Philadelphia team is playing its best football of the entire year. We know how great they can be with this dominant offense. They have Saquon Barkley, the best running back in the entire NFL, who can salt you away for 20 carries, 200 yards, and 3 touchdowns. And we've seen it multiple times this year. He's up there for the MVP conversation, but Josh Allen is just having such a great year. And then offensively as well, we know what Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith can do. And Dallas Goedert's also had a great season as well. So I just think this Eagles passing attack is really so diverse, and that's where I think people aren't giving them enough credit, because they can beat you in a multitude of ways offensively. And then this team defensively has really stepped it up this year under new DC Vic Fangio. This Eagles defense was instrumental in their Super Bowl run when they played the Chiefs and only lost by 3 points. And then last year they lost their former defensive coordinator in Jonathan Gannon, and this Eagles defense looked like a shell of themselves. And that was one of the main reasons why we saw this massive losing streak from them at the end of the year, and why there was such a big question mark on this team coming into this season. And Vic Fangio has done a tremendous job of returning this defense to what we know it can be. You look at the statistics, they're giving up the fewest total yards per game in the entire NFL. The secondary that was one of the worst in the entire league last year is giving up now the fewest passing yards per game, and it's headlined by their 2 stud rookie corners in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. And they put that all together by giving up the fewest points per game in the entire NFL. And I just look at how balanced this Philadelphia team is on both sides of the ball, between what this defense can do up front, stopping the run, between what these corners can do, shutting down the passing game. And then you look at offensively how balanced this attack is as well. Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley are lethal in the backfield. And then, of course, you have these 2 phenomenal receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith that can light it up and get it going whenever they need as well. And with this Lions loss to the Bills, the Eagles are now only a half game back from the #1 overall seed in the NFC, potentially getting that first round bye. And I think right now for Philadelphia, Philadelphia, whether they get that first round bye or not. I think they are more than capable of going into Detroit and beating this team. And that is nothing against Detroit and Dan Campbell, because I believe this is one of the best teams in the NFL, but they have been riddled with injuries all season long, and it specifically started up front in their front seven. And when you have so many injuries in your front seven, on your defensive line, in your linebacking core, when you're facing a tough, physical football team in the Philadelphia Eagles that we know can run the ball with Saquon Barkley 25 to 30 times a game, that is not a great recipe for this Detroit Lions defense. And we saw Josh Allen go crazy on this team, putting up 48 points. And I just don't think this Lions defense right now is capable of stopping some of the top offenses in the NFL. And I do think the NFC is going to be a bloodbath of a conference right now, because even Philadelphia at 12-2, if they can't squeak the #1 overall seed in the NFC, this conference is no joke and has teams scattered 1 through 7 throughout. And we look at a team like Minnesota, who's going to be 12-2 as well, who might not even win the division. We look at the Green Bay Packers, who are currently the 6th seed, but they're 10-4. And for Philadelphia, are they going to have to play Washington for the 3rd straight time this year in the first round of the postseason? But regardless, for Philadelphia, it felt like last year they didn't know what their identity was. They tried to score as many points as possible, but this defense would religiously let them down. They have a true identity this year, and they can beat you in a multitude of ways. And this Eagles team should be the favorite to win the NFC this year, and I think they're going to make it back to the Super Bowl. I'm Caden Kubler, and thanks for watching.